Can we quickly talk about the last 2 weeks for the San Francisco 49ers? Week 18 of the regular season, they come back from down 17-0 to take down the Rams in overtime. And yesterday at Jerry World, AT&T Stadium, on the road in the first round of the NFL playoffs, they're able to hold off the Dallas Cowboys in a game that came down literally to the final second and the final play. So given the Niners' momentum, it's the Green Bay Packers next. Do you think San Francisco can take down the top-seeded Packers? If so, hit that thumbs up icon, like the video, and let's preview this divisional round matchup. It's a Victory Monday here on the 49ers Report by Chat Sports. I am your host, Chase Sr. Are you still working off that adrenaline from yesterday's win against the Dallas Cowboys in thrilling fashion? I am, I know you are, and shout out to today's sponsor, Fetch Rewards, for making today's show possible. This is an app that we'll tell you about here in a few minutes, and it's been a game changer for me. You can earn points on any receipt from any store or restaurant. Then when you redeem those points, you get gift cards back in the process. Before we get to this Packers game, let's get to some 49ers injury news, because this all kind of relates to the Niners going up against Green Bay on Saturday night. Nick Bosa going out early with that concussion, missed the entire second half. Fred Warner going down with an ankle injury. If they're not able to go against a top-seeded Green Bay Packers, it really affects this Niners defense, which the back half of the year under defensive coordinator DeMeco Ryans has been one of the best units in the NFL. We first start off with getting into the latest on Nick Bosa. 15.5 sacks during the regular season. A sack yesterday of Dak Prescott early in that first quarter. Missed the second half, as I talked about, after suffering that concussion. Kind of had an ugly collision with DJ Jones where he got hit in the head kind of snapped back. And in order for him to play against Aaron Rodgers, for him to be getting after the likely MVP winner, he's going to have to clear concussion protocol. But there are some good developments on this side. Nick Bosa's dad was in the tunnel outside the locker room after the game, dapping a bunch of players up. He said that Nick is in good spirits, and some of the players on the San Francisco 49ers saying he seemed to be fine, but of course when you suffer a concussion or a head injury, sometimes these things can linger to the next day. So this is something we're going to continue to monitor on this Victory Monday, also all throughout the week as well, as he has to meet with some neurologists as well for them to clear him in order for him to play against the Packers on Saturday. As for Fred Warner, suffered an ankle injury in that second half, and really, the Niners defense able to come through in the clutch without their two best players in Bosa and Warner was really impressive. That pass rush was phenomenal. Ian Rapoport on All-Pro Fred, the second highest paid linebacker in the NFL, saying this, quote, "I'm told he re-aggravated a previous ankle injury. He was still standing on the sidelines late in the game. Maybe that's a good sign. He's going to have tests today on Monday. More information later this week. No one has ruled him out. At least he has a shot." And Kyle Shanahan did say in the aftermath of that thrilling finish that Fred Warner, quote, "has got a chance to play." Obviously, he's really good against the run, very good in the pass game as well. Niners defense, they need Bosa and Fred Warner. Really have to emphasize that, because these two guys are two of the best all-around defenders in the National Football League. So, let me ask you this, Niner gang. I'm interested to see where you're at on this topic. Can the 49ers beat the Packers if Bosa and Warner do not play? Type Y for yes, type N for no. This is going to be the pinned comment on today's YouTube video. So if you get hit with that ad break, just scroll on down and get your votes in. As I mentioned, the stage is set at the frozen tundra of Lambeau Field in Green Bay, Wisconsin on Saturday in the divisional round of the NFL playoffs. Of course, the Packers, the top seed in the NFC, able to get that first round bye, and in doing so, able to rest up a little bit. And because the Niners are dealing with some injury issues, the Packers do go into this matchup as 5.5-point favorites. The over-under set at 48. Green Bay able to finish the regular season with a really good 13-4 record, and Aaron Rodgers missed one game because of COVID protocols. Other than that, he was really fabulous all throughout the year, as evidenced by the numbers we'll show you here in just a little while. And the 49ers and Cowboys were able to renew their playoff rivalry, and one of the greatest rivalries in the NFL, in the wild card matchup between two of the most iconic brands in the history of the NFL. First time they met in the playoffs since 1994, and what do you know? We're basically recreating the early to mid 1990s with another fabulous matchup between two of the most iconic brands in the NFL, in the Packers as well as the Niners. And these two teams have a long, illustrious, historic playoff history that really in the 90s was dominated by the Green Bay Packers and Brett Favre, who only lost to Steve Young once when they met up in the playoffs. 1995, Packers won 27-17 when the Niners were trying to defend their Super Bowl championship. 1996 and 97, Packers won back-to-back games. In 1998, the 49ers able to reverse the fortunes there, and they're able to win that game on the Miracle 2.0 when Terrell Owens caught that ball late from Steve Young to give the Niners the win in the divisional round. 2001, Brett Favre able to get back at San Francisco with a 25-15 victory. 2012, it was that field goal that came down to the last second. That was 2013, but in 2012, it was the 49ers with a dominant win in Colin Kaepernick's playoff debut, final game at Candlestick, 45-31 victory, and then in 2013, that's when that final field goal took place in the final seconds at Lambeau Field, giving San Francisco their first road win at Lambeau Field, the frozen tundra in the playoffs, and then most recently, a dominant 49ers showing in the NFC Championship game back 2 years ago in 2019 when Raheem Mostert ran wild, 2 touchdowns en route to a 37-20 victory when the Niners defense was all over Aaron Rodgers throughout the duration of that ball game. So with that, what do you think happens on Saturday night? Really, Green Bay dominated the rivalry in the early start, but San Francisco has kind of reversed the tide a little bit. Type SF for the San Francisco 49ers, GB for the Green Bay Packers. Get your predictions in for Saturday's game. Now, as I mentioned earlier, today's 49ers Report is presented to you by the Fetch Rewards app. You can get a free download and 3,000 bonus points by going to chatsports.com/fetch and enter the code 49ers. This app has really been a game changer for me. Basically, you can earn points on any receipt from any store or restaurant. We're talking mom and pop stores or big retail stores, and redeem points for gift cards in the process and get other rewards as well. So basically, no matter where you go, any store, any receipt, you just scan it on your phone and the app is able to read that receipt and you get bonus points back in the process. And as you can continue to compile those bonus points, then you can get those gift cards to places like Amazon, Target, Starbucks. So one more time, head to chatsports.com/fetch, and upon sign up by using the code 49ers, you get 3,000 bonus points. I'll put that link in the comments section as well as the description of this video. Now, we already broke down the playoff history between these two legendary franchises. This is also a matchup that took place earlier on in the season in Week 3 in a back-and-forth game where we were going back and forth on the seesaw. If you remember, Jimmy Garoppolo with some late-game heroics to drive the Niners all the way down the field to give them a 1-point lead, and then Aaron Rodgers with 27 seconds left able to drive Green Bay down the field, and then Mason Crosby able to knock through that game-winning field goal in the final seconds. And Aaron Rodgers, I think, is going to be named the NFL MVP for good reason. He's right up there with guys like Joe Burrow, who had a profound impact on the Cincinnati Bengals, who are playoff bound in the second round, won a playoff game for the first time since the early 90s, and Tom Brady. But for me, it was Aaron Rodgers ahead of the pack all throughout the year. He completed nearly 69% of his passes. Nice. 4,100 yards, 37 touchdowns to just 7 interceptions. Average yards per completion, a very elite number. And this is something that Aaron Rodgers has been able to do for a really long time. 11 yards per completion. He's a big play threat anytime he has his hands on the football, and he's been getting it done for a long time. He's probably the most gifted quarterback I have ever seen in my lifetime. And when Aaron Rodgers drove the Packers down the field for that last-second game-winning field goal against San Francisco, he was able to link up with Davante Adams. And Davante Adams, once again, having a fabulous year. Last year, he broke the record for the most touchdown receptions in a season. This year, more yards in 2021 than he had in 2020. And Aaron Rodgers is going to try to link up with him as many times as possible. 123 catches this year, 1,500 plus yards, 11 tutties, average yards per catch of 13 almost. So Aaron Rodgers, Davante Adams, one of the best 1-2 punches in the NFL, and this Niners defense really going to have to hone in on both of those guys. Now, the Niners defense now, going into the divisional round of the NFL playoffs, is not the same defense that we saw in Week 3, when up to that point they were playing like one of the worst in the NFL. And shout out to D'Amico Ryans, defensive coordinator, who the Minnesota Vikings have requested permission to interview for their head coaching vacancy because he's turned this defense into one of the best in the NFL. We saw that certainly on display against the Dallas Cowboys when Dak Prescott was pressured by the Niners defense on 25 of 52 dropbacks. Also, the Cowboys went into that game with the number one scoring offense, putting up the most yards in the NFL per game. D'Amico Ryans able to lock down that Dallas potent offensive attack and make them non-potent. 17 points allowed and only 307 yards. And really, this is a secondary that's been undermanned for much of the year, but has vastly improved over the last month or so, led by the rookie in Ambry Thomas, the Michigan product, third-round pick. Emmanuel Mosley has been balling out. Jaquiski Tartt, Jimmy Ward, one of the best safety tandems in the NFL, and K'Wan Williams has been good as well. You saw that yesterday against the Dallas Cowboys, that all of these guys really combined to lock down in the secondary and play very well. A big product of why they've had pressure taken off of them is the 49ers' ability to generate a pass rush. And led by Nick Bosa, Eric Armstead, Arden Key, DJ Jones, Jordan Willis, the list goes on and on and on. If you have a pass rush in today's pass-happy, offensive-centric NFL, that really helps you win nowadays, and it can allow you to really dominate games in a very impressive fashion. And that's really been a byproduct of D'Amico Ryans' scheme, but this defensive line has been getting after it. That defensive line is one of the best in the NFL, and that is how they can also pull off the upset as 5.5-point underdogs and take down the Green Bay Packers and knock off the top seed. My keys for how the 49ers can win this game: Jimmy Garoppolo cannot be as shaky as he was in moments against the Cowboys and as he was early in that game against the Los Angeles Rams. Against the Rams, looked like he couldn't throw the football. Against the Cowboys, missed that long third down pass to Brandon Ayuk, and the pick set up the Cowboys to get back in that game. You're really going to need Nick Bosa and Fred Warner to be healthy against this very good Annie Lee Green Bay Packers offense, who, led by Matt LaFleur, last couple of years has been one of the best in the NFL on a consistent basis. If you pressure Aaron Rodgers, he ain't the same quarterback. So you have to basically run some of those stunts, run occasional blitz packages, and get pressure on Aaron Rodgers. And if he's feeling that heat, he's not able to sit back there and survey the field and really pick you apart like he did earlier on in the year against San Francisco, when he was basically unconscious and basically didn't throw any incompletions. Another key for me: get the ground game going for a multitude of reasons. One, it's the bread and butter of Kyle Shanahan's offense. Two, it helps set up the play-action game. Three, if you're able to win time of possession and keep the ball away from Aaron Rodgers, that bodes well for you in inclement weather, in a tough environment, and it helps you further just keep Aaron Rodgers off the football field. And I said this leading into the Cowboys game. I'm going to say it again. Turnovers are going to come at a premium. Turnovers could really decide this game. It almost decided Cowboys-Niners. Game management also going to be critical as well. I said it all last week. Kyle Shanahan had the coaching advantage over Mike McCarthy, and some of the time management and game management decisions, or lack thereof, that Mike McCarthy made late in that game were inexcusable. Whereas I thought Kyle Shanahan kind of just stayed confident throughout the game. There was no panic on that sideline, even though the Niners almost blew it at the end of the day. So before we get out of here, of course, want to thank Fetch Rewards for making today's show possible. Once again, free download, 3,000 bonus points by going to chatsports.com/fetch. You earn points on any receipt from any store or restaurant, and in the process, that then leads to you getting free gift cards to places like Amazon. But I also want you to get the comment section flowing with your score predictions of Niners-Packers. You let me know. I'm going to go back and see, and hopefully a lot of people are going with San Francisco. Thanks for watching today's show, and we'll talk to you later.